Hello and welcome to Jaeger ASMR. Today I will be reading part 3 of My Academia X Depressed Listener. Thank you for the support. And yeah, as a reminder, this story contains scenes of suicide, self-harm, and possibly any others. So let's get into it. He woke up the next morning with the same nervous, heavy feeling as always. Like yesterday, you took the blade from the drawer and placed it where you had placed it the other day before cutting your wrists again. You pulled on your uniform and began walking to school. Midori eventually showed up, so you walked with him. Eventually, the two of you got to your classroom and walked in. Nothing interesting happened during class. But then at the end of class, Ida raised his hand. Aizawa, may I please speak to you after class? Yeah, sure. You felt your stomach drop. You knew exactly what he was going to speak with him about. He said he was going to tell Aizawa anyways. The day went on normal. Ida spoke to Mr. Aizawa, but nothing happened. He hadn't said anything to you yet. You were still worried about what would happen. The two of you had a class late period where y'all had to wear y'all's training uniforms. You didn't think of that before and left otherwise. You could have a long sleeve shirt and put it under your uniform. Mr. Aizawa walked up to the changing rooms. You hesitated on the way walking in. You didn't know what you were gonna do. Mr. Aizawa must have noticed that you hadn't gone into the changing rooms yet, and took the opportunity to talk to you about what Ida told him. Ryan, can I talk to you for a minute? You felt the anxiety start to build up inside you. A student had reported you for self-harming. Is this true? You felt your eyes start to water as if you were going to cry. No, it's not. I'm fine, really. You felt a tear roll down your cheek. You wiped away quickly. Ryan, show me your arm. You didn't have a choice at this point. He was going to find out. A few tears rolled down your cheeks as you reluctantly rolled up your sleeve. Mr. Aizawa had a look on his face as if his heart dropped a little. You started to cry. I'm sorry. You couldn't hold the tears back. I'll be back in a second. He called you, both of you, into the changing room. Wait, what? One moment. He called you into both of the changing rooms without looking in either of the doors. Wait, what? Give me 1 second. He went to both the changing rooms without looking in either of the doors. I'll be back in 10 minutes. Meet on the training field. He looked back at... He called back into both of the changing rooms without looking in either of the doors. I'll be back in 10 minutes. Meet on the training field. He looked back at you and rolled your sleeve back down. Follow me. I'm taking you to the nurse, making sure they don't get infected. But you didn't care if they got infected. You just didn't want anyone else to know. Do we have to? He turned around and looked at you. I can go and get you some bandages or something instead, just so they can stay clean. You nodded, and as he took you into an empty classroom and poked around in a cupboard until he found a first aid kit. He opened it and took out some kind of cleaning solution and some bandages. He sat down in front of you. Can I see your arm again, so I can clean it? You rolled up your sleeve again, revealing your arm covered in red lines. He started cleaning it very gently. When he was done, he wrapped a bandage around your arm. You rolled your sleeve back down. He put the first kit away and sat back in front of you. Why did you do this, Ryan? You guessed that made sense while he was asking. You didn't know what to say. I'm only asking so I can get you help. Still, you didn't know how to put this into words about how you were feeling. You proceeded to try anyways. I guess I just to try and stop the heavy feeling I can't get rid of. It only works for a little bit, but that's better than nothing, I guess. You could tell that he was actually worried about you. Okay, one moment. My dog's scratching at my door. Give me a second. You could tell he was actually worried about you. You started feeling guilty as your eyes started filling up with tears again. I'm sorry. All I seem to do is get upset at people. Oh, no, I'm gonna re-say that. I'm sorry, all I seem to do is upset people. You started to cry. He leaned forward and pulled you into a hug. It was weird considering he was a teacher, but it was warm. It was a warm and comforting hug. You could tell he actually cared about his students. This wasn't just a job to him, it was his life. You don't upset people. They only care about you. You guess he had a point. I'll send you to the counselor because of the teacher policy. I've also asked Ida to keep an eye on you and try and prevent another situation like the one happening yesterday. You guess Ida must have told him about that too then. I just want to know that I'm only doing this to help you. Please try and stop doing that. That though, one cut too deep and it could all be over. The words rang through your head. All over. You thought to yourself, Moyun. Sorry, just lost my head, you said anxiously. You can sit out from training today, but next time wear a long-sleeve shirt under your training uniform. You nodded. I have to go and teach the class now, but you can sit on the side. You nodded again. But just before we go, promise me one thing. What is it? Never do this again. You thought about what he said for a second. I can't make a promise I don't know if I can keep, you said. Just try for me at least. You nodded your head and you all walked back to the class. About 3 weeks had gone by since Mr. Izola had that conversation with you. You were still thinking about what he had said. One cut too deep, and it could all be over. Y'all had moved into the dorms now, which didn't make much of a difference, for since your mother was always at work. The only thing that did mean that you had to be more careful with what you wore in case someone saw your arms. The last thing you needed was more people worrying about you. Mr. Izola had signed you up to see the school counselor weekly now. You're assuming that he would have tried to phone your mother to tell her, but she was always busy with work. Most of the time you just lied to the counselor and told her that you were fine. But you think Ida thinks you stopped cutting, but he still keeps an eye on you. Okay, I'm sorry for all the barking in the background. I think my dad may have just gotten home. It was the end of the day, and we were back. Everyone was back, all walking to Steele's dorms. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to end it here because there's a lot of barking. So, for now, this will just be it. I will see you guys in part 4. So, bye!